want to say to all the fans of WLW, y'all keep on supporting this organization because they're going to be the next big thing.
Welcome, everyone, to WLW Amplify. I'm C.T. Harrison, along with my cohort in crime, Martin Kadich.
Hey, guys. How's it going? How you doing, CT?
Man, I'm doing good. It was a long week. We started training, of course, this week down at the arena, down at the academy. So everybody's getting ready for the show coming up. We've got a show coming up. July 11th?
That's right. And we're working hard to get ready. That's all I can really say. I'm sore from practice this week, and it's a good kind of sore.
It's a good kind of sore. It was neat to see everybody come in there for the first time since all this began, to see all the guys come in there and see each other again, after, 3 months?
Right. There was quite a few of the guys that I hadn't even been able to really speak to because, we're not every one of us are socially, in each other's faces. I like to let people have their space, and I like to take a little bit of my own. So, it was really nice getting in there. It was knocking some of the dust off. I'm working on setting up some new tag ropes for the ring.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm wanting to go for something a little more colorful.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. Big thank you to our sponsors at World League Wrestling. Jim Chineri Ford in Moscow Mills, Jim Chineri Chevrolet in Troy, Impact Digital Design, CT Harrison Business Solutions, and Traveling East Productions. That helps make everything possible with World League Wrestling, and especially the fans. Speaking of the fans, Sarge, what's happening? Austin, Julie. Who else is in here that I can see? There's a lot of people.
I know Austin is planning to come and start training there soon.
As a matter of fact, we have a beginners camp coming up.
That's right. I believe that's when he's coming in.
That'll be cool. I can't wait to see some of the new recruits that come through there. I think that'll be interesting. See a new class.
Right. The new classes just keep getting better and better, too. At least that's my opinion, Not down in the old class.
No. But they got some big shoes to fill because in the last class you're talking about guys like Colton Theron Vaught, Moses the Deliverer, Raheem De La Suede,
Stefan Newton,
yeah, and the list goes on. Those are some shoes to fill.
Mighty big shoes, I might add. And I mean, they stepped into some pretty big shoes themselves.
2 of them are actually tag team champions.
It comes full circle. You train hard, good things will happen.
Sure, absolutely. Speaking of the 11th, July 11th, we are back at the Race Wrestling Arena. Everything stands the same. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7. I look for that to be a very, very, very interesting night of action because, you're back. Jon Webb, Camaro Jackson, and Derek Stone are going to be there. The Empire. We left off with those guys. They lost the tag team titles, of course, to Colton Theron Vaught and Moses the Deliverer. There's got to be some retribution there at some point, I would think.
And as people who notice and pay attention on the socials there, that Jon Webb's already got himself a match against Moses at the next show.
That's going to be interesting.
You gotta wonder if Moses is going to fight just Jon Webb or if the whole Empire is going to come out.
It's the Empire, so you don't know.
You can never tell.
And you know what to expect from Jon Webb. And you know what to expect from Derek Stone. But do we really know Camaro Jackson enough yet in his time with World League Wrestling to really know what to expect from him?
Well, I reffed him a few times before he joined the Empire, and before that, he was a pretty easygoing, nice guy, since he's joined the Empire, though, and he's basically took a price on Leland Race's head to take him out and join the Empire,
That is true. Leland Race turned his back on him, and boom.
I tend to think that, he's going to be a handful.
We will also get to see the junior heavyweight champion, Sean Patrick, back in action that night.
And that's going to be exciting. Every time that young man gets in the ring, it's exciting. I've enjoyed reffing him the few times that I have. The matches have been fairly well paced. Keep me on my toes.
He's got good cardio, and that's a fact. You can't deny him that. But I digress. And as we speak of those that will be there on the 11th, with us now on the line, Jon Webb, you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man. Hang on. Give us 1 second. We can barely hear. We got to make an adjustment. Making a quick adjustment here on the audio cables. See if we can get there.
See if that helped.
How are you guys
Are you with
doing?
us?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not hearing him now.
Uh-oh.
Did you miss the hole?
It wouldn't be the first time. Are you there, John?
Yeah. What's going on?
Let me try one more time here, and then we'll send the experts in. Come on. Okay, how's this?
You hear me?
Okay,
Are
1
you-
second.
We'll get with you, John. It just can't hear you on our end right now, so not really sure, but we're looking forward to the first show back. Know that you and Moses got a match coming up, and I'm sure we'll discuss that here in the future, so shortly in the future. Okay, let's see if that worked. Did that work for you, John? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm not really sure, John. Give us just a minute when we get back, and I'll give you a call back.
Sound.
They said the fans can hear John.
But we couldn't.
Yeah, in the chat is how excited is everybody else for July 11th? I mean, come on, folks.
Just keep going while I work on this.
We're gonna have quite a few good matches. We were trying to get a little cookout going, but right now it might not be possible. Don't worry, good old Martin's not going to give up on having that happen for you fans. As always, there's the fans get out in the parking lot and they have themselves a good time, and that won't change even if we don't have a cookout or a tailgate party or anything else. And yes, we will have crock-pot hot dogs inside for certain. That's a fact, Dave. And honestly, Sarge says he wishes it was right now, but truth is if it was right now, we wouldn't be able to be doing this show because my butt would be up in that ring reffing a match. I'm extremely, extremely ready to get up there and start doing the thing again. So, and it seems like everybody's saying they're extremely ready for this show, and got a few people in the chat here. Chandler Blackwell, who is training to become a World League wrestler himself right now, is in the chat. I have not talked to him since we all had to stay home for a while. How ready are you, Chandler? We got Austin, who's soon to be a trainee. We got Chandler, who is training. We got Big Alex, who is definitely ready, he says, for this big show we're going to have. And trust me, there's going to be more come directly after that. I know that for a fact. We're going to do our best to get shows going and get the fans happy again, get them in there. Try and get them in there for a good time. Saturday nights. Maybe try and get a few of them road shows going again, too. This is the culmination of a whole lot of waiting and a whole lot of hoping, and we're gonna make this thing a reality again. And don't forget that, even though we haven't been able to be having live shows, we do still have WLW TV every week on Thursday on YouTube, on all the socials, really. You can catch it anywhere. I like to watch it on YouTube. I'm usually in the chat. And we getting it? Looks like we're getting close. So, sorry, I'm not the best at filling dead air, but I'm excited to see the Moses versus Jon Webb match, to see a little bit of the payback from Jon Webb, maybe, or maybe Moses stands tall at the end of it. And don't forget that as soon as we can, right after this show, we're going to have new shows for TV of current wrestling events. And that's going to be exciting. There's a whole new setup inside the building. The fans should be really happy to see it. And we're going to put Ben Simon to a little bit more work. That's the best hint I can give you. And I think we're waiting for Jon Webb now.
Gonna call him back. See what happens.
Hello.
All right, let's try that.
What are we trying?
Okay, now we can hear you.
It's good to have you,
got the right
John.
number?
It's nice to talk to you, bud.
Well,
I think you got the wrong number.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh,
How did we get the wrong number?
All
All right, Jon Webb, call us again. Because apparently that was the wrong number.
But yeah, I've just been told that I can tell the fans that we got a new piece to the set at the home base there at World League Wrestling, Harley Race Wrestling Academy, where our wrestlers are going to be able to do interviews before, after, and between matches.
Right.
So you get to hear a little piece of their mind a little bit more often than we were able to before. As we say, we're always trying to improve it. We're always trying to up our game.
Well, there's a lot ahead for World League Wrestling right now. Yeah, and there he is. Let's try this. All right, can you hear us this time, John?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, great. Yeah, barely hear you, but as long as they can hear you, then that's good.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you, John. It's been a while.
I wish I could say the same. CT, how are you?
Good, man. Everything's good. Are you anxious to get back in the ring and compete again?
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Moses is, as good as he is, gets to be the first victim, and that's fine with me.
Yeah. Well, you have you lost the tag team titles to him and Colton Theron Vaught. So of course there's got to be some retribution.
Unfairly, I haven't personally got to go back and check. Fairly certain they cheated. I don't know how else they could have beaten us, but we can discuss that later. Here's the thing about Moses and CTV is, as good as they are, they're not as good as we are. We're more seasoned. We've been doing it longer, and I'm going to have to take that out on him.
Right. And I understand that. I expect nothing less, as a matter of fact. I'd like to go back to your early days and in your training, how you started, how you got into wrestling.
How I got into wrestling? Well, I showed up the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. I believe it was 2009, and I trained. I debuted in 2012 against Simon Gotch in WWE in Richmond, Missouri. Formed a tag team with Jack Gamble as High Level Enterprise. You know, the ship was steered, I think, mostly by me, because we won mostly because of me. After we decided to split up, you know, went on, I gained the WLW Junior Heavyweight title, and then
that was a
the
tournament, was
WLW
it
Heavyweight. It was, and I beat Jake and Dominic Rose, which everyone knew was going to happen. I'm not going to give him much credit because I'm better than he is. So, then the WLW Heavyweight title, I got the opportunity to defend that in Italy successfully while taking their heavyweight title from the IWA. It was great, you know. I got to go in against Kareem, which the fans of WLW will know, and we put title versus title on the line, and just like I've proven in the U.S. and now Italy, I'm also better than Kareem.
I have a little bit of a question around the title in Italy. Did your strategy change any when you found out that you were going to be title versus title instead of just defending the World League Heavyweight title?
I can say it motivated me more. You know, I was pretty confident in myself that I would successfully defend the WLW title. But then for me, I just wanted to be able to, I guess, humiliate him in front of, you know, his fans in his country, his family, and it worked.
Okay. What was it like getting to work with Harley?
Harley was the best. For me, he always had something smart to say, which was funny, and he was just a wealth of knowledge. I mean, there's nothing that any of us could do now that he hadn't done, and it was honestly just my pleasure to be able to learn under him and learn from him, you know, to try to perfect my in-ring ability with his knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, definitely.
Who were some of the trainers there when you started?
When I first came in, Bonsai was the head trainer, he is now a referee for WWE.
Right.
And
we had him on the show here not too long ago, as a matter of fact.
Yep. And then shortly after I had came to WLW, he got signed, and then it was split for a while between Leland and Brian Breaker, and then Leland kind of stepped in and took over the majority of the training, and then it was him for, you know, the rest of my time there.
Right.
You're having a technical issues all day today.
I'm telling you. Well, through your wrestling career,
Martin's there, so that doesn't surprise me.
Well, it happens. Through your wrestling career, you've gotten to wrestle all over the place, including, of course, you said you got to go to Italy. What's it like whenever you step into? Have you gotten to go back and do any of the stuff with WWE when they were in town?
No, I haven't went up. I haven't went up and done anything with WWE. I got to do the 2 dojo stays in Japan, and I got to do Italy, and that's outside of the country. That's all I've done so far.
Well, you also spent some time at Noah.
Yeah, and
Do you got anything you can share about working at the dojo in Japan?
yeah. Also, what do you want to know? Hit me with something, and I can tell you about it. It was the training wise, the hardest training I've ever had to do, which is what WLW bases a lot of its training off of. It's just it's a lot different when you're there.
Right. I've heard the cardio over there is really rough. So
Yeah, cardio is a big part of it, and just having to keep up with these guys that are just tremendous in the ring.
Austin Mulatalo wants to know, what's your favorite match? What is your favorite match that you've been in?
Favorite match that I've been in?
Yes.
Oh man. I think for me personally, and I don't know if you can find it online, but in 2015 when I was in Japan, I had a singles match with Atsushi Katoge, and that would probably be pretty high on my list.
Wow.
For my own matches.
Big Alex wanted to ask, who was the best trainer at the dojo when you were there?
In Japan?
Yes, sir.
Well, mostly it was ran by Kumano, and he pretty much led training each day. I know there were, they had some trips that they did on their own, so training was ran by Harada for a couple days. So just because of the amount that I did it with, I would have to say Kumano, because he was the one that pretty much led the charge on everything.
Interesting. Who were some of the wrestlers that you looked up to as you were, when you're getting into wrestling? Who were some of your favorites?
Some of my favorites, I've always been more partial to the quote unquote smaller guys. So the Jericho, Eddie, Benoit, Dragon. I got into Japanese wrestling because I saw a match with Misawa and Marufuji, and just watching Marufuji and Misawa, that's what got me first intrigued in Japanese wrestling. And I would be lying if I didn't say Marufuji's probably my number one, just because his style from when he started is really what caught me, and his evolution throughout his career, for me, he's gotten so much better. And I don't know that I want to say better as much as I don't know. It's his ring psychology just blows me away sometimes, I guess. It's the way he does things, how he does things, it's just, for me, that's what I would want to aspire to be like.
Sarge would like to know, who has been your toughest opponent to date?
Toughest opponent. I mean, here's the thing. Whenever you look at your toughest opponent, that can go a few different ways, right? So
Okay.
when you look back at Night of Champions, you know, the night that I defeated Leland Race for the title, you know, that was, for me, he was a tough
Night of
opponent.
Champions 3?
Yeah. Yeah, the one where I beat him for the title, that one. You know, he was a tough opponent because he's smart. He knows what he's doing. And, you know, he also attacked me with a chair, and my ribs were bruised, and I was taped up when I went into the match and so beat him. Then you look at somebody, you know, like a Brian Breaker that's, you know, 6'4", or however tall he is, you know, 240, you know, that's like 3 of me. So, you know, it just depends on what category you want, you know, to really look at.
Big Alex would like to know, what has been your favorite feud?
My favorite feud. I'm going to have to say probably the stuff I've done with Gamble, just because we know each other so well that, you know, we both constantly had to be on our toes trying to come up with new ways to get around the other one. So that was probably the most fun I've had.
I think that one actually culminated at Night of Champions 4.
Yeah, yep.
And then we didn't see Gamble for quite a while until here recently.
And you know what? He tried. Bless his heart. He tried.
Okay.
What would be your goals moving forward from here on out?
My goals moving forward? You know, when you talk about goals for me, you have to talk about goals for the Empire. Between me, Derek Stone, Camaro Jackson, and I think after we regain the tag titles, which is going to happen, trust me, I think I really want to put my sights back onto the junior title, just because, listen, Derek Stone has the heavyweight title, and I'm fine with that. You know, there was some resentment before, and who knows, one day I may take that back from him, because, you know, I feel I have the ability to. But that'll be down the line in a friendly competition, right? So I have the utmost faith in myself that I can maintain holding the tag titles and successfully regain the junior title. So I think that's where my sights are set. But let's get through the tag titles first, and we can discuss that.
Well, the Empire would control the entire gambit at that point.
Listen, here's the thing. Whether anyone wants to believe it or not, and whether anyone sees it or not, we already do.
Okay, then. Austin would like to know, what got you into wrestling? What made you want to be a wrestler?
Me, I just, I started watching wrestling in about late 96, roughly. And I was just captivated by it. And I kind of made my mind up at a young age for me that, that was something I wanted to do, just because I enjoyed watching it so much. And so I just ran with it.
Interesting. You've been with World League Wrestling for your entire actual wrestling career, haven't you? It's where you started, and that's where you're still at. And when I say still at, I don't mean I mean as far as it's just a place you don't want to leave.
Correct. Yeah, I debuted here, and I've been able to have a lot of success, and a lot of my success is because of WLW. And that's one reason, especially now, why I will be in WLW is because I'm going to see it, prosper now more than ever, and I'm gonna make sure I'm, standing at the front of the line.
Well, what's it like for you, not only as a competitor and as an athlete, but as a longtime Harley guy, WLW guy? What's it like for you to see where it's come in the last 7 years?
I'm a lot more happy with where WLW is now, opposed to where it has been in the past. I think we're building something now that is the best version of it, and I think there's going to be nothing but good things that come out of WLW in the future. And I think everyone needs to make sure they pay close attention because it's going to be nothing but good things, big things, and it's going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. One of the big conversations that's been had in nearly just about every show here from WLW guys is the locker room and what it's like back there with our roster and the way things have been. What's it like for you in the locker room now? I'm sure you and the Empire have your own thing, of course, and you go off and do your own. But what makes the WLW locker room to you different than other places you've been?
I can only speak so much on that because you're right. The Empire stays with the Empire. We don't worry about everyone else. We don't hang out with everyone else, mainly because we don't like them. And, I would hate to have to get into a confrontation in the back to where the fans couldn't see us beat somebody up. So, we kind of stick to ourselves. We do our own thing. People leave us alone because they're smart enough to. And then we go out and take care of our business. So, I can't speak on the rest of the locker room. I just know they're smart enough to leave us alone.
Well, let me ask you this. Does the Empire maybe have its eye on anybody else on that roster? Now, you don't have to say who, but are you guys looking to add on? I mean, do you have your eye on anybody that you've been watching?
Anybody are you even remotely suggesting that we need to add someone?
No, not need to, but that doesn't mean you don't maybe have your eye on somebody that might, I don't know, heighten it.
Heighten it. Here,
Sure.
let's turn the table around. Let me ask you,
Okay.
Who's someone that you guys think that could heighten the Empire?
Wow. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint one, but I'm sure there's got to be at least one young lion that you could bring up among the ranks, that you could teach, someone that you might see a little potential in.
Yeah, well, let's backtrack here a little bit. You don't know because I don't know that there is one. Listen,
And
whenever
that's a
you
good
look
answer,
at
too.
when you look at a team of Derek Stone, Camaro Jackson, and Jon Webb, why would we need anyone else?
Touche. I'll take it. So, what is it like actually getting to work with those guys? Because we know Derek Stone's been, he's been a WLW guy for a very, very long time. and he knows how to navigate the waters of WLW. Camaro Jackson, just a powerhouse, an absolute powerhouse. And, of course, yourself. What's it like getting a group like that together?
It's great. When you can align yourself with like-minded individuals that have the same goals and, let's be fair. Who's going to stop Derek Stone? Who's going to stop Camaro Jackson? Who's going to stop me? That isn't one of the names I just named off. No one. So if you put the three of us together, you're not going to be able to touch us. Of course, there have been flukes and people playing unfairly, which that's the only way they can take us down. But, when you have a group like the three of us that are stand-up guys, top-notch individuals, play by the rules, that are as bad as we are, you can't touch us.
Well, now, I want to ask you something that kind of goes along with the last two questions. At first, you tried to bring the newly returned Jaden Dominic Rose into the fold, but it seems like he's going to be an enemy to you guys and actually try to help take you down. So do you have anything to say about that you'd like to say?
Listen, here's the thing about Jaden Dominic Rose. He made a decision, and it was a poor one on his part. We were going to watch his back. We were going to take care of him. And then he wants to turn on us? That was a mistake. And I hope he's listening to this, because I want him to know out of the bottom of my heart how few days in WLW he has left, because I've done it many times before where I've put him down, and it's just going to happen again. And this time I think I'm going to make it for good.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned the Junior Heavyweight Championship and a possibility you may decide that you want to go for that again. So are you saying that you're maybe putting a target on Sean Patrick's back?
I'm not saying maybe. I'm saying the target's there. I just haven't pulled the trigger.
So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Just a matter of when.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's a fair answer. Do you have any advice that you'd like to give to up-and-coming wrestlers or guys who are thinking about becoming wrestlers?
I think
Other
the
than
biggest
stay out of your way.
Well, that would be first and foremost. After that, the biggest thing I can say, I think, don't care what anybody thinks. If it works, if it makes sense in your head, give it a shot, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get shot down way more than you're accepted. I was fortunate enough to have a few people actually put a little bit of faith in me, and I feel like I haven't disappointed those people that have actually given me the opportunity. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just take a shot at it.
Good deal. Martin, you got anything that you...
Well, I'm currently scrolling through the Facebook.
Going through the Facebook feed. He's trying to get with Facebook. Trying to stay up with the fans.
I will say this: there's a lot of comparisons from the Empire to the Four Horsemen in the chat right now.
How's that make you feel, being compared to the Four Horsemen?
I mean, I think I'm more curious on how the Four Horsemen would feel being compared to us.
Touche.
And we just gotta. How does there? Big Alex wants to know how you feel about the fans at World League Wrestling.
How do I feel? Okay, well, here's the thing about the fans at World League Wrestling. And, this is where my main problem stemmed from in World League Wrestling was, show after show after show, I came out like a good little puppet, begging them to love me, doing everything I should be doing. And the second Derek Stone beat me for the title, that place could not have been louder. And it just made me take a step back and think to myself, what am I doing this for? Because these people here don't care about me. They pretended for years to, but then they made it very clear that they didn't. So
But
for
they
me, the
did
fans
care
of World
about
League
you at one
Wrestling,
point. What changed? When did it change?
maybe they got tired of seeing me be so dominant. I'm not really sure, CT.
Huh. Because, I mean, you could feel the change over those last few months until you lost the title. There was a whole change in atmosphere, and I'm just curious as to what it was, what the catalyst was to it, because I didn't see it.
I don't know what their reasoning was, but they turned their back on me. They turned their back on me. They got behind Derek Stone beating me. So I turned my back on them. Why? I'm not going to beg them for acceptance. The fans of WLW showed me their true colors. They showed me who they were, and I'm done with them. So Big Alex and all the rest of them, they did it to themselves.
I'm just curious of what kind of a mindset you would have to join forces with the guy who took your title. What kind of a mindset do you have to do that? What did you? I mean, you have to explain that to me.
Listen, here's something you need to take into account, guys, is think about any of the great wrestlers from WLW, and I can list them off if you want. You want to talk about your Leland Race, your Brian Breaker, Elvis Aliaga, which I made him leave, your Black Hand Warriors, which they left after we beat them multiple times, your Jag Gambles, your Jane Dominic Rose, any of them, Superstar Steve, Brandon Espinoza, any of them, I beat them. Some of them on more than one occasion. And then for a guy to come along and beat me, that's somebody I want to be with. That's somebody I want to align myself with, because if you can beat me, then that shows me your true colors, who you are. And after I've beaten all of them, and I, thought to myself, this is somebody, we could do damage in WLW. And then you throw Camaro into the mix. I'm telling you guys right now, this year, everybody better watch out, because we're coming.
And I was just telling Martin a little bit ago that we have yet to really see Camaro Jackson. We've only seen one side of Camaro in a very short time that he's been with World League Wrestling. I don't feel like we've actually seen Camaro Jackson yet.
Trust me, you're going to. You're going to see it. And it's not going to be pretty, and people aren't going to like it because of your precious Sean Patricks and Jaden Dominic Rose and the rest of them are going to fall to the Empire. It's going to happen. One of the big reasons is going to be because of Camaro Jackson.
Well, now, coming from the fact that you did spend all that time in the World Heavyweight Championship spot and beating everybody and everyone that challenged you all the way through, are there any thoughts to maybe going after that title again at some point?
Yeah, I think at some point there might be. in the extremely unlikely event that somebody can actually take that title from Derek Stone, which, might I add, is never going to happen. But if it did, that target would be right back there too. And I mean, as long as the WLW committee had no issue with it, I guess I'll run around with the tag titles and the junior title and the heavyweight title, and that would just have to be what it was. And if I had to defend all three titles every single show, I would successfully do so, no doubt in my mind, and I would move on to the next show.
You were talking about the fact that you tagged with Jack Gamble for a long time, and you guys wore them titles, the tag titles, well. And you've also wore the tag titles with Derek Stone. Can you explain any differences maybe between the two that maybe change the I guess the outlook of how you wrestled?
Yeah, I always had to be kind of watching every aspect of what was going on with Jack Gamble, because as good as a partner as he was, I mean, I think you could flip through the history books there of WLW, and we're multi-time champions because he couldn't keep his shoulders off the mat. So the difference, I guess, there would be is Mr. Stone and I got cheated out of our tag titles, which is why we don't have them still to this day, where maybe old Jackie boy just couldn't live up to his end of the partnership. I don't know. That's just me spitballing here, but
Okay then. Give us your favorite Harley memory.
You're gonna have to excuse me for a moment while I think of one.
It's kind of not fair to say one, is it?
Well, you're just gonna have to give me one that I can actually tell the story of. Because I have quite a few, but I don't know of any that are. I guess a fun one was we were out and about one night, and I believe it was Dustin Bosworth. He wanted to be a tough guy, and Harley was sitting there, and I think everybody, unless there's different names for it, but everyone's very familiar with, the game Mercy, right? Where you lock hands and you both squeeze until somebody gives up. And Dustin, being what he thought he was, decided one night he wanted to play Mercy with Harley. Harley, sitting in a chair, cigarette in his mouth, just kind of laughed to himself, and Dustin walked over there, and they interlocked their hands, and they started going, and Harley literally sat there laughing with the cigarette in his mouth as Dustin, he's squeezing and his muscles are popping and turning red, and then he gave up very quickly after that once Harley decided to play back. And that one, for me, that one's always a good story.
That's pretty good.
A guy who's wanting to start training soon, he's going to be at the beginners camp, Austin. Mulatalo wants to know if you can describe what it's like training at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy.
I love training there. The people, I'm still in contact with a majority of them to this day that I started training with. But, like I said earlier, a lot of the training is based off of the Japanese training, and, it's not always going to be fun, and you're not always going to enjoy it, but you'll learn down the road that it's beyond necessary because that's what keeps you going. And you'll be able to push past a lot, especially in matches, with the training you get there, opposed to, maybe somewhere else.
Well, any last minute plugs or anything you want to get out there before we wrap things up?
I mean, if any member of the WLW universe is listening, this doesn't necessarily go for you, but I'm on Twitter at Jon Webb, HLE, same on Instagram. Two social medias I frequent the most. If you want to hear me rant a little more or watch me knock someone's head off, hop on WLW's website, get the show dates, make sure you're there. You might be disappointed with, I don't know, a Jaden Dominic Rose match, but you won't be with anyone from the Empire. So, just come check it out.
All right, Jon, thanks for coming on the show. I look forward to seeing you on the 11th, on July 11th. And,
CT,
I guess we'll
great.
see you then.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you, CT. Martin, I wish I could say the same. But, we'll see you guys on the 11th.
All right, buddy. You take care now.
All right. Bye.
Take it easy.
Jon Webb, former World League Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, former World League Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Champion, and former World League Wrestling Tag-Team Champion.
Oh, and he's definitely going to be winning titles in the future, too.
1/3 of the Empire.
I've seen him work. I've reffed him a lot of times. It's probably why he doesn't like me. But, he's definitely in every title picture he decides to be in.
The most common complaint that I've heard about your reffing is that you don't know how to count to 3.
That's a...
And why? And I hear that so much about refs. So I don't understand, why are we hiring refs and it seems to be everywhere I go, in WWE, NXT, AEW, Impact, everywhere you go, World League Wrestling. For some reason, we are hiring referees that can't count to 3 because I hear it everywhere. It seems to be
now. I
have
an answer. I have an answer to that, and that is if the referee can't count to 3. How does the match actually end then?
Well,
I mean, just recently
submission?
we were talking to Jon Webb right here today, and I had to count 3 when he lost the tag titles.
Well,
I had to count 3 when he won the junior heavyweight championship.
But when you do count to 3, they say you're counting too fast.
I could totally see an argument made for I want to get there quick, just so I don't forget what comes after 2. I've heard the complaints as well as everyone, and I've sat and watched matches and made the same complaint. So
Okay.
I understand where it comes from. It's just just to break the mold right here, right now, for everybody. 1, 2. 3.
There you go, 3. All right, see? He can count to 3, everybody. You can find World League Wrestling about anywhere you go on the internet, on all the social media. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on, on Twitter.
Twitters,
on
Instagram,
YouTubes. YouTube. You can get to. You got to go to our YouTube channel and check that out. Lots of content there. Go to www.worldleaguewrestlingtv.com for $4.99 a month. Subscribe to that, and you get a bunch of great content there. A lot of the matches without commercial interruption, as well as on all the great TV stations. What am I leaving out? Have I left anything out?
I don't think you have.
Well, then the very last thing I can say is I hope to see everybody July 11th at the Race Wrestling Arena for our very first show back after these few months. I know we've missed you guys so much, and from what I'm gathering, you guys are just itching and ready for a show, and we'll be happy to see you there. You're going to see the Empire, Jon Webb, Camaro Jackson, and Derek Stone. Superstar Steve is going to make his return to the ring. We haven't got to see Superstar Steve in a while. He did show up beforehand, before everything kind of crashed on us,
Right.
in the economy, and we had to shut down the arena for a while.
Just reconnected with his tag team partner.
Reconnected with his tag team partner, with SB. You're going to see Moses the Deliverer, of course, and Must See TV, Colton Theron Vaught, in action, as well as your junior heavyweight champion, Sean Patrick. He will also be there that night and in action. $12 in advance. You can go online and get that at World League Wrestling or at HarleyRace.com. For adults, it's $12, $5 for children.
Yeah, as Sarge likes to remind everybody, go to HarleyRace.com to get your tickets.
Yeah, am I echoing him or is he echoing me? Oh, looky there. Look, he even put the
Yeah,
WLW.
he just posted that. You know, Sarge is on top of it every chance he
Are
gets.
we having a
so.
tailgate party?
He said it's going to be a little difficult this time, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay. I get it.
I think that means that Big Alex has to step up for this one.
Big Alex.
I'm not scared to call him out right here. I'm not. I'll just do it.
Okay, then. That's fine. That's fine. July 11th, Race Wrestling Arena in Troy, Missouri. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7. Can't wait to see you there again. A big thank you to all of our sponsors at World League Wrestling. Jim Chineri Ford and Moscow Mills. Jim Chineri Chevrolet in Troy. Impact Digital Designs. CT Harrison Business Solutions. Traveling East Productions. And, of course, the great, great World League Wrestling fans, which, of course, we couldn't do any of this without you. There would be no reason to.
This is very true.
Did I leave anybody out?
No,
I didn't forget anybody.
I don't think so.
I tend to.
We
do
could
that.
thank ourselves.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, CT.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Jeez. Oh, my God. All right. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. We'll see you right back here next Sunday on World League Wrestling Amplify. We'll
Take
see
it
ya.
easy, folks.